This is Zach. He uses free traffic from SEO to grow e-commerce businesses.
We put out more than 1,200 pieces of content a month. You'll see extreme results after a year.
And today he's showing us his secrets.
Build money pages where people actually buy stuff. That's the 80-20 of e-commerce SEO.
After living in China for a decade, he's got some great stories.
I lived in the factory dorms at the company. Zach need to hire 100 foreigners in Thailand right now and set up an office. We had smart homes, we had dildos, we had everything. 2 SKUs of essential oils did $8 million a year.
But then things took a downturn.
Amazon is down for us. We have the Shopify site and we don't really know what to do with it.
So then he did what really anyone would naturally do.
Spent, a couple weeks reverse engineering every Shopify site that I saw that was doing well. So I would just wake up and I would have a couple $4,000 orders from SEO doing nothing. Okay, I would need to take another look at this.
And he shares the exact steps that you can use to get most out of it with the minimum effort.
So the secret to Shopify SEO is really making as many of these.
How do you come to Shenzhen?
No, I came to Shenzhen. I got a wild phone call at 2 a.m. From the CEO of a company called ValueLink, which at the time was like one of the top 5 Amazon sellers pretty much in the world because they were top 5 in China. And they were massive. I mean, like 1,000 employees, another office in Wuhan. I think at the time, the year before I went, they had 30,000 products. Then they narrowed it down to like 3,000 of the best ones. They bought a bunch of the Amazon software that was doing well in the West. So they bought AMZ Tracker, which at the time was the biggest. They almost bought Jungle Scout.
Oh, really?
As well. So They were in talks and they were deciding between the two. They also bought Cash Cow Pro.
Yeah,
they had Amazon training for China with Bai Lahui. They were massive. Basically, the CEO calls me randomly because I helped him out in a Facebook group for Amazon sellers in like 3 months earlier. Just randomly, he's like, "Hey, does anyone have a good some good companies for supplements in America?" "Yeah, here you go." So I sent him over like a list of 60. And later I ended up actually working on that brand, but, he liked it. And then a couple months later, he just says, "Hey, come to China tomorrow."
And when you came to China, you worked in that huge
company,
Oh,
yeah. Right? I lived in the factory dorms at the company. They asked me, "Do you want to stay at the company or stay at the thing?" "Oh, I'll stay at the company."
How does it look like, a company dorm in China?
Not great, but the commute is amazing. You walk downstairs, you're at work. You walk upstairs, you're back. And
What year was that?
This was 2016.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was
no Meituan.
None of this shit. And I was only the second foreigner at the company.
What was the next step? How long did you work in the company? How did you then come in contact with more affiliate, go to affiliate world conference as a speaker?
I worked for a little over a year in that company, but it felt like about 10 years. I definitely lost my hair in that time because it was crazy. And I actually won an award in the company at the Nianhui for like the hardest working employee in front of 700 Chinese employees. I got to walk up there. And the white dude won.
That says a lot.
Yeah, because this is a company known for their overtime culture and stuff like this. And I got to work on tons of crazy projects for them and manage a lot of their biggest brands, like probably the second biggest brand at the company. I was managing it. Our essential oils alone, 2 SKUs of essential oils, did $8 million a year.
Nice.
That we made.
And then there are thousands of SKUs.
Yeah. We had a whole supplement line. We were doing like 6 supplement lines. We had smart homes. We had dildos. We had everything. So it was definitely, I learned like every 2 weeks, like what I learned in all of college.
Right.
So
How long
it was,
did you stay there? 1 year, you say, right?
Yeah, just over a year, but it was a lot. But luckily they had me also as their kind of public face. So the whole time I was there, I was thinking, how can I use this to set myself up?
What made you wanting to do business and what triggered the business?
I mean, my family didn't really come from a lot of money or have that. And I knew that I needed to really depend on myself if I wanted to kind of do anything. And it just became more and more interesting because, when you're kind of on your own and you're in America and you're like, fuck, well, I need to figure this out at some point. So then once you get a little bit deeper, like for example, friends recommended the 4-hour work week, and then I'm like, this blew my fucking mind. Let's go. and you kind of get a sense of what's available out there and what kind of life you want to live. And by doing a lot of the business stuff, it enables you to do the things that you want to do.
It's like a different universe opens, right? When you read there's like a word you didn't know exist, and then all of a sudden you read it. Because I had the same experience with a book called The Fastlane Millionaire, or Millionaire Fastlane, from MJ DeMarco. And that was the very first time I never knew about entrepreneurship, or I never had that on my radar at all. And then when I read the book, I was like, oh, there is like people are making money they don't have a job, and it's actually possible to make a lot of money if you're not 60. Like that's like that. I didn't think about that, right? So like reading something like that can really open your eyes. So I think it's cool that you had the same experience. You read it and it's like,
yeah, I think the 4-Hour Workweek has probably made more millionaires than any other book that I've ever seen in my life. Like everyone I meet at affiliate conferences, oh, how do you get, 4-Hour Workweek. All right. You know, when I eventually left the company, I was like, okay, well, I know a lot of Amazon stuff. I managed a lot of big brands. So I started to do like services and consulting for sellers. Pretty quickly, I got multiple 9-figure Amazon seller clients. And the model was I would go in basically once a week, so each seller would get a day, and they would pay me at least like, $1,000 for the day, and went all the way up to $4,000 before COVID, like per day that I'm going into these companies. And the way that I would get those clients is I would go in, we would have a meeting, and then I would set up like a couple PPC campaigns that I knew were going to do well. So then by the next week, I would come in and they're like, you already made us like $50,000 profit. What do you want? Like, come on. So
yeah, that's a good system. Make someone money, then they're always, normally then they're quite happy.
Yeah, so always give first, show them what you can do.
Maybe we can go just first in just generally SEO for e-commerce brands, right? Yeah. Because what you do is very specific. You look at your website, it's just SEO, e-commerce, like very, very targeted for that. So I'm really curious about that. Like, how does someone first, how did you end up picking that? How did you end up picking SEO and then also SEO for e-commerce?
Yeah, so people that know me for a long time, they're like, Zach, what the fuck? Because they see me always trying all kinds of different stuff. I've had software that I've sold. Now I'm doing SEO. So people are like, whoa, how did you end up there? But really, it's going along with kind of two major trends that I'm riding. So number one, AI made everything I don't like about SEO very easy. Basically, managing like teams of very subjective content and like, everything takes a long time to write this stuff and do this. But AI is just changing the game on being able to do a lot more work very quickly. Like I have a team of only 5 people right now, and we put out more than 1,200 pieces of content a month. Like
the first thing what I hear though is the first thing that pops in mind is like, working with the brands is you hear SEO, you hear AI. The very first thing that pops in mind is like, oh, but Google is going to ban that. Google doesn't allow that. Like
so Google has come out with their policy that says we're okay with quality content no matter how you do it.
Interesting.
And I'm seeing all my AI stuff go up, but it's not all AI. It is human edited AI content. So AI gets us like 60, 70% of the way there. And then the rest of it is human editing and sometimes a lot of human editing. It still takes our team about like between 45 minutes to an hour per article because we are doing a lot of different stuff to it. So it's not like we go to ChatGPT, hey, write an article about whatever. That's not what we do. At the same time, Google also punishes scaled content now. So
what does that mean?
Basically, this is if you publish like 10,000 articles a day, 1,000 articles a day, that's a pretty big red flag to Google that you did not manually look at this content and improve it in some way. This is just kind of programmatic bullshit. And a lot of people just got hit for that. We kind of walk the line. So usually when people sign up with us, we do about 2 pieces of content per day. So usually like 1 blog and 1 collection page. Or, it might vary a little bit, but we never publish more than 4 pieces of content on that site on any one day.
How did you get into that?
So I started going to all my old clients and all my old stuff when I came back to Shenzhen and was visiting a bunch of Amazon sellers. And I realized that like none of these people have a single SEO employee in their company. A couple things about what kind of business I wanted to have at the time. I'm not old, but I'm a little bit older. At this point, I should focus much more on building a team of younger people that will work for me, that have the energy to do all the stuff. So I wanted something I could build a team around. So it had to be, for example, when I run Google Ads, I'm doing that with like 10 years plus of experience and, a lot of intuition there. So how could I take something, squeeze all the creativity out of it and make it a process that's repeatable, scalable, stuff like this? Spent, a couple weeks reverse engineering every Shopify site that I saw that was doing well. But you start to see like the similarities. You find a bunch of Shopify agencies and you see their case studies with their clients on their thing. So you go to the clients and then you tear those apart and figure out what did they do for these guys. And then you start to get good. So then also like I've had a lot of Shopify sites, like a lot. All of COVID, I was stranded basically in Thailand. Chinese people want to do business in person. That's why we're all here. You can't be remote and work with Chinese companies. It doesn't work. And so I had to, I was stuck in Thailand. I'm like, shit, I got to do a whole new life. I started high ticket drop shipping. I was selling like wine fridges and solar panels and dog treadmills, football goals, truck bumpers, like anything you can imagine. I had more than 20,000 products up. Wow. And I would wake up and I would see sales from all that stuff every day. But I started to get a lot more orders from SEO, even though I had no idea what I was doing. I would just like one day I was outranking a brand called JPro for their like football sled stuff. I don't know, some football training thing, and also baseball pitching machines and stuff. So I would just wake up and I would have a couple $4,000 orders from SEO doing nothing. I'm like, okay, I would need to take another look at this. So it took a while of digging in and learning the important stuff. But what you end up finding after you do the work for a while is it is repeatable, it is consistent, it's a lot faster than you think it is. Like I took this brand recently from like 12 clicks a day to 300 clicks a day in under 2 months, right? That's not how people think SEO works, but it does. That's an extra 100,000 people over the course of a year going to your site. And the cost per click for that, for those keywords, is around like $2.
Right.
So basically, that's like 200 grand worth of value. And we charge a lot less than that. We're very affordable. We're like Chinese prices. And so like it's just mind-blowing the impact that you can have.
Why is SEO better than ads or other marketing methods?
Well, I'm pretty holistic where I don't think anything is specifically better. Ads are amazing. Toss them up, get sales immediately. You can scale to the moon. But the problem is, like, if your ads turn off, are you making anything? Like, it's so easy now to do this, like, 80-20 of SEO, start to get, like 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 people a month to your website, that there's no reason not to do it because it does make your ads easier. It's a lot of sales supporting content, and it just adds so much value to the brand when you want to sell the brand. It's such a huge driver.
Why is that valuable to potential buyers of a brand if you have good SEO?
Yeah, for so many reasons. So good SEO, once you kind of achieve some rankings, you're probably not going to get knocked down for a while, right? You can stay there for a long time, for years, and have this digital real estate that really, is going to be around for a while and continues to bring you money. But ads can be very erratic, volatile, and not stable. Tomorrow, your ad account can get shut down, just false positive from a bot or something. Or, maybe people stop liking this one creative video, or maybe TikTok gets banned and you're, out of luck. But SEO, it's there for a while. I mean, we'll see what happens with all the AI stuff like Google SGE and stuff like this. But all those AI generated answers that are going to be at the top of Google search, they need to get that data from somewhere. And that's going to be from your site. Okay, all of these AI models are crawling the web, and the more you're mentioned, the more you're brought up, the more you're also going to feature in a ChatGPT answer or a Google Gemini answer or something like this. So, SEO is really the best way that you're going to be featured on all these chatbots going forward.
Right. It's a real nice long-term value. Definitely increases certainty.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think the key thing is that you can actually do so much in the short term with SEO that this is not something you need to wait 6 months, 12 months to see something. You'll see extreme results after a year, but after like even 1 or 2 months, it's worth doing.
Generally, when I think about SEO, I think about, as someone who's not doing it for e-commerce, is thinking about blog posts to promote affiliate products, or to have AdSense, or to have, something like that. So how is the traditional way people think about SEO in those terms different from SEO for e-commerce?
Yeah, so blog posts are still pretty important because they provide a lot of benefits for your site. I'll get into that in a second. But where people really need to look at is kind of how do you build money pages, pages where people actually buy stuff. And if you look at all the search results for basically different product type terms where people are searching something and they probably want to buy something, a lot of times you'll see like a / collection / whatever the collection name is. And so collection pages rank very strongly for any sort of product-based query. And so the secret to Shopify SEO is really making as many of these collection pages as you can in the category. So, you'll type it into Ahrefs. Let's say you're selling an impact wrench, type in impact wrench. Now, the main keyword impact wrench might have 25,000 searches a month, but all the keywords that contain that might be like 4 million.
Wow.
And so you want to really cover a lot of these long tails. And the thing that Google needs to see is you need to have a couple keywords in the right places for Google to really want to rank this. So your H1 needs to have this keyword, the URL needs to have this keyword, the title tag needs to have this keyword, needs to be a couple times in the paragraph, a couple times in one of the H2s. And just by doing that, you're ahead of 80% of SEOs. Like 80% of websites, 80% of whatever that are not optimizing for this. And then you just rank for that keyword. I mean, that's the 80-20 of e-commerce SEO.
What's the downside to it? Because everything sounds amazing, right? It's faster than people think. It's cheaper.
Yeah. So downside could be, there's honestly not much of a downside. The downside is you could put a lot of work in, and then 3 years down the road, AI destroys Google or something like that.
I think then we have other problems anyway.
Yeah, but at that point, everything else is going to be different, So there's not really any significant short-term risks or downsides, because if you find like a decent SEO agency, like at least me, I try to keep my pricing like super fair, super Chinese, super approachable, because most SEO agencies suck. The same work that I'm doing for not a lot of money in a normal American SEO agency would charge $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a month. I don't charge those prices. I want, brands to be able to try it.
Right. I think that's really good because that's our experience too. So whenever we've been looking in the past for SEO companies, there's there's 2 tiers. There's the affordable ones, which normally suck. There's the very expensive ones, which have a chance to be good, but A, it takes 3 months for them to get started and publish anything. And then B, it's so expensive that you can't justify the cost. Even with money pages, you can't justify the cost that they charge. So that's why it was always, and then there's the third option of like actually learning it, right? And I think most people are not that curious or talented.
Yeah, I also don't think they should, because if they're doing that, they're not doing the stuff that they need to be doing to keep this thing alive. SEO is kind of like salt and pepper. It's an extra. It shouldn't be the main focus of your dish. You should have your logistics right, your product development. You do need ads, okay? I do SEO, but I do all the marketing stuff. You still need ads. SEO agencies, they know that we don't need to provide a lot of results. They'll say, oh, we'll do 3 or 4 blog posts a month, and we'll do like 1 or 2 links, and we'll do like a couple optimization. We do like 10 times more. Well, more than that. We do 60 pieces of content a month, 15 plus hours of technical work on your site, fixing stuff. We do a crazy amount of work for our price. But that's why we can report the first thing that people see on the report is the revenue.
Right.
And how much that's going up.
No other agency do that. So if you work with SEO or PR companies, because this is we use it a lot. So SEO PR is really, really important for us to position brands. You want to have your own pages there. You want to have Amazon there and Walmart there, and everything needs to be there. You need to be there, right? So it's a really, really, really important strategy.
Yeah, I mean, being found on Google search also gives you a certain level of credibility. Much more likely to trust every other element of the marketing if they see that.
Absolutely. So you mentioned money pages. So I want to know the money pages kind of refer to as the category pages, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can come up with some other pages. Maybe comparison pages could also work, and there's all kinds of stuff you could do. But in general, for a Shopify site, at least, it's going to be collection pages where people are typing in, I want to buy this, and they go there where they have the products and they buy it, right? But blog posts are also still super important because they support those pages. They increase the rankings on those pages. And also blog posts are very easy to rank for tons and tons of keywords and traffic. So what happens with that is Google, if you have no traffic to your site and you just make a bunch of money pages, they're not going anywhere, okay? When you increase the total traffic to your site, Google starts to trust you a lot more and will rank you for harder and harder keyword volume terms. And so this way, the blog posts really support what you're doing with the collection pages. So a lot of times, and even this is happening to me yesterday, I talk with clients and they don't really know SEO, but they want to be like, do it this way. And you got to say, like, look, if you're going to hire me, you're going to hire me for a reason. Of course, we can get some of your stuff to rank, but if you want only these keywords to rank this month, you haven't done any research on this. You're only taking these keywords from Amazon. Google's a different search engine, and your site has no traffic and no anything. So let's build it up, and let's make the pages for your stuff. Let's make the pages for our stuff so that we can support what's going on. So a lot of times people think they know, but then they haven't used any of the tools. They don't know the SEO ecosystem, and they don't know how things are different. They just think, oh, maybe we, why are we doing this? So
how long does it take you to make that strategy?
Well, actually, we use 80% the same strategy, and it just is repeatable and it works. And we have it down to a system, so we're very kind of product agency. We can kind of tack stuff on based on people's needs. But almost all of our clients are on the same plan. So we do about 30 blog posts a month, 30 money pages, like collection pages. We do a lot of technical stuff. So I built a program. We can automatically do thousands of internal links. We do fix their schema. We fix all the other stuff that they may have messed up on the website. And then we don't do a lot of linking because most of our clients already have links. So we're weaker on that at the moment.
So that is backlinks, right?
Yeah, but we're very strong on the on-page and content. So clients that usually have a DR of at least like 20, and the site, we usually pick clients that have a revenue of at least 100K a month on their Shopify. So what that does is shows that their site converts, that the product pages are good, that if we send more traffic, we'll probably make money. But if it's like they're starting from zero, we don't know if they figured that out yet, if their products are the right price, if they have like a good conversion, and even if people are going to like the products. So we stay away from kind of brand new sites.
Yeah, that's really good. I was about to ask, when is the right time for people to actually go into that?
People should still do something if they have a brand new site, because that way you'll get through the sandbox period quicker, Google will like you more, and it can be kind of quick. I mean, we have a site, we finished this up for this guy like about 2 months ago, And now he's getting about 4 clicks a day, which isn't a lot, but he's a lawyer, and these are all like
very high level.
maybe he'll make $60,000 if someone like buys from this. So and within a couple months, he might be, he's ranking for like 80 keywords right now, but in a couple months, I think he'll be ranking for like 500, 600, 700. So it's worth it if you have a long-term outlook. A little bit of the basic SEO stuff can really go a long way.
So even when you're just starting, that's something to set up, just the basics.
Yeah.
What's like a mental checklist people can use, just very broad, of like what needs the basics?
Yeah, so I would download a tool called Screaming Frog, which basically lets you quickly do kind of an audit. You could even buy an audit from someone else to kind of show you, here's the stuff to fix. But a lot of SEOs also get really bogged down with like best practice SEO. Like I need to make sure everything's technically perfect. So they're very worried about their alt tags, but they're not focused about making new pages that have the right keywords and can bring you money. They think it's about fixing all these small problems on the page. That's really not what it's about. Like we should do more with alt tags, but we really don't touch so much of that kind of stuff. It's more about making big moves to make more pages. You could spend a year and fix all these small technical issues, but not make a single extra dollar by putting your focus there. But think about, you have a keyword, the page needs to be optimized for the keyword, but the main other thing is like Google shows you what they want. This is really also a huge shit for me because I was like, what the fuck are these SEO people talking about? They're like doing tiered link building and they're like, use this link wheel and the web 2.0s and this. And I was like, what the fuck are they saying?
Can we make this simple?
Yeah. And then SEO became simple when I heard people saying it. Basically, Google already shows you what they want. Look on page 1 at Google. That's what Google wants to reward for that keyword. I'm like, oh, that makes so much sense. That's great. So I would recommend a tool like SEMrush or something like that. Use it, get better at keyword research, and figure out what you need to do. Then make sure that the main keywords are in the right places on the pages. So, Screaming Frog can show you every H1 on your website. Nice. Look at your H2s and make sure that they're relevant. Make sure that the titles are correct. But, don't spend a crazy amount of time on it, but maybe like 2 or 3 hours a week. Start learning a little bit because it's kind of fun and it's very easy stuff to fix. And even a lot of basic freelancers should be able to fix a lot of that stuff if you tell them the right stuff to fix.
What's the difference between, or is there a difference between different type of businesses? So let's say I have, there's an Amazon business, there's a dropshipping store, there's a general e-commerce business, there's an existing brand. Like how do they need to see SEO differently in a different light, or how does that work between them?
All right, well, that is a huge question we could spend a lot of time on. So for dropshippers, it's really essential to do SEO because basically your margins suck anyways. So any sort of free traffic you can get and free sales you need to do because, dropshipping, your margin can often be, 20% or less, sometimes 10% or less.
And then you get the refunds. Yeah.
And then you have all kinds of other problems. So it should be really essential as a way to mitigate the worst parts of dropshipping, which is just low margins and a lot of problems. For Amazon, there might even be some good ways to rank your Amazon products on Google because it's basically what's called parasite SEO, which is putting content on basically a website that has a very high link profile, like a very high DR. And you can actually send a bunch of backlinks to an Amazon listing and it can go up. So, but you look and see, there are a couple different things. So like one, there's an Amazon product page. And if an Amazon product page is ranking in search results for that keyword, it's sure you can beat them through backlinks and take over their spot. Then you have Amazon search pages. So this shows up more and more. Google really likes to show groups of products on a page instead of one single page. That's why go after collections and not go after product pages.
I see. So just learn from the best, see how they do.
Just look at Google. Just look at what Google wants, and they all want groups of products. But if Google is showing that, like a 40-50% chance where with enough link power, you can kind of get over that. And then if there's no Amazon on the search results, you're probably not going to rank. So
let's say I'm after making sure that the world knows exactly what I stand for, who I am, what I have to offer. How do I see SEO differently?
You don't have sales, you don't have a brand. Make sure you survive first. Then, if you are a brand, SEO is super long term. So if you pull up tons of different Shopify sites and you look at their traffic curves, it just keeps going up. And like typically, we're almost able to get most sites to double the keyword rankings and double the traffic every month for a while. And that kind of exponential growth is massive. But, you know, going from like 100 keywords to 200 keywords in month 1, but maybe it's like 3,000 keywords to 6,000 keywords in month 6, the longer you do this kind of stuff, it's going to be massive. And you look at these big brands, the value of their SEO traffic is equivalent to like maybe $300,000 free spend every month, $500,000, $2 million. Like the value that you get out of it is just unreal.
Yeah, I think it's really important if you want to build something long term. You want to, make sure that people down the line still find you, because if you're not just setting up the business or as an e-commerce business for, okay, I want to make a couple of sales and then it dies and then everyone's going to hate me because the product sucks and I'm going to close it. Like if you don't operate that way, but if you actually operate in a way where long term you want to build something that can sustain, that can be, that can grow, that you don't always need to find new products all the time, I think it's a really, really cool tool. The question I have around that is, how do you measure the sales? So that might be a bit technical, but I'm very curious about that. How do you see the sales?
Yeah. So obviously, marketing attribution is a massive subject. And no matter what you do, you're going to be wrong, right? You are never going to have an exact amount, this is what happened, but you are going to be directionally accurate and say, hey, it went up a lot this month or it went down a lot this month and stuff like this. So since I mostly work with Shopify brands, the easy way you can check at least like a probably 60-70% accurate check, it's not going to overcount, it's going to undercount by a lot, is you go to the sales by traffic refer report, you hit filter, and they buried this very deeply, by the way. There's no report on Shopify, you just click it, hey, here's your SEO sales.
Right.
But sales by traffic referring type, click that, and then you hit organic. And then it will show you roughly your organic sales from the stuff. But then you're going to see another big chunk that says direct. And a lot of sales are under direct. But this is because people with ad block, people with, that don't accept your cookies, people that are on iOS and other things, those don't really get counted in the organic sales stuff. And people have done a lot of research. I think Groupon even did this thing where they shut off and de-index their site for hours to figure out how much of the direct traffic is direct and how much of it is Google search. They found 50% of that direct traffic was Google search.
Yeah.
And so when you look at that report and you look at the sales, know that a lot of the sales in direct are also the Google search sales, but we only report the ones that are specifically there. Now you can go nuts. You can use like first party server side tracking, and you can spend like another year trying to figure out a tracking solution that works. You can pay like $1 million a month for Triple Whale. There's a lot of stuff you can do, but just check that report like once a week, once a month, and just make sure it's going in the right direction, okay? So many people, especially in China, want everything to be accurate to like a fraction of a percent, and just move things in the right direction for long enough, and you'll be making more money at the end of the day with a lot less stress. So this is why I probably can't do the same stuff that you guys are doing, where the brands are like, okay, this needs to go, like the Facebook ad, Google ad, everything, the attribution is just a fucking shit show and a nightmare right now, and it's going to get worse as Google gets rid of cookies and everything else. But you just want to move in the right direction for a long enough period of time, and you'll end up in a good spot.
To kind of break it off soon, I want to understand, what are things you think people need to know, or what are things that we haven't shared? Is there anything that you want to share that people have to know that you think are important that move people forward, whether that's an existing brand or someone just starting?
Well, that's a very big question as well. Let me think. Basically, AI is changing everything you can do. It makes everything much easier. I build a custom development script every single day that automates hundreds of hours of work. So take a look at how it can really impact these things that you thought were a pain in the ass. Like SEO, you can fix a lot of stuff with advertising, and you're able to do so much more with so much less and do it faster. The other thing is really, if anyone is listening to this and they're not in China, the world is changing fast. It's going to change faster. Start thinking, how can you do everything 10 times faster? How can you just get things done and be less of a perfectionist and really just move fast?
Man, that was an awesome answer. I really like that. AI, think about how do you 10x, how do you make everything quicker, how do you not be a perfectionist, just get shit done, get things out of there, and you will be rewarded for a lot of action, for doing the right things, for doing more of the right things rather than doing everything perfect. Where can people find you?
All right. So anyone that is interested can go to smartecomseo.com. Just scroll to the bottom. There's the contacts. You can see our sample reports. You can see even our monthly contract. You can see all the stuff that we do for clients. We have case studies. We have screenshots. We have all the stuff to kind of back us up. We explain why collection pages are important. We show you why you still need a blog. We show you examples of our blog post content. We got everything there. So if you like what you see, send me a message and we can talk.
That's awesome. We also, of course, link that, in the very beginning when we started, we link it everywhere and make sure that people see it, because I think people have to see this, and I think it's a game changer, and I truly mean that. I've been looking for something like that for a long time, and it's great to know you, great to see you.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I want to do this specifically, is because there are so many bullshit SEO agencies, and when I saw that, SEO doesn't need to be bullshit. It can be really good.
Right,
That's just
really cut through the noise with that.
Yeah, and the best marketing is if I give people really good results. So there's no incentive for me to, cheat or not be good. Like, the incentive is make a lot of people a lot of money, and then you make a lot of money, and it's crazy how that works.
What a concept. Make people money, then they like you. They want to do more with you. That's an interesting idea.
It's worked for me for years. A lot of SEO agencies don't get that. So
cool, man. I learned a lot. That's it. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.